Okay. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm excited we're
Um,
doing another one so soon.
I know we just recorded a mini episode 7, so you guys can go check that out on YouTube. And now we're on episode 8. Hi, Gunnar. And Gunnar is joining us, but he's off screen. So I thought we could start off today with just a little body check, a couple deep breaths, and yeah, maybe just like shake off your day. Take a moment to look around your surroundings, check in with your body and how you're feeling. Just take a moment to ground into where you're sitting or standing. Take some inhales and exhales.
Mm. I love starting with more deep breaths. It's always so good. So
It's
needed.
it's always a good idea, and it just always makes me feel better no matter
Hmm.
what I'm doing. Um, and it doesn't take very long at all. You could do it at your desk, in your car, while you're walking, in the morning before you wake up. I mean, it's just like a little trick to insert in any part of your day.
Yeah, it's a really low effort way to have just like a huge impact, maybe, or even just like a subtle one, but it's just you and your breath. I love it. It's
Yeah,
accessible always.
awesome. Okay, so for those of you who don't know us, I'm Janine.
I'm Emily. Welcome to the pod.
Welcome to the Align Life podcast. Um, Today, we're going to be starting off with a couple life updates. Emily, what's one thing that you've done, learned, or experienced in the past weeks that's added to your life?
I think for me, um, I mean, I don't want to get too far into the word of the year because that's a little bit ahead, but I think that what I'm learning right now and experiencing in my day-to-day life is that it's always good to listen to my body. And I feel like that's the re-remembering or a relearning, just at a different, because I'm in a different point in my life, so the lesson hits differently now.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think that having in mind the type of life that I want, being able to cultivate more self-trust and choosing what my body needs is still going to lead me to where I want to go.
Mhm.
Um, so that's been something that I've been experiencing the past few weeks that I think has just made everything feel better and feel more connected to myself, like throughout the day and throughout the week.
I love it.
Mm. Okay, what about you? What have you been learning or experiencing, and what's been added to your life recently?
Okay, actually, so there's a couple things. One, I've been walking a lot and just like fitting it into my day more, and it's been making me feel a lot better. And I realized like that just makes my life feel more in flow. And
Hmm.
it just makes me feel way more regulated. Um, and also, like another thing that I've learned and experienced is the pattern of what it feels like when I've manifested something. Because lately I've manifested, uh, like, I paid off my entire credit card. And I like really took, I've been trying to do that for a very long time. And so when I finally did it, I just took stock of like, what does this feel like to finally have like manifested something? Like, what does it feel like in my body? What patterns were happening like before I got to this manifestation? Like, how did I get here? And just noticing those patterns. Um, so that way I can like almost revisit them or train my body to accept like accept them, welcome them, invite them.
Mhm.
Um, and then interesting enough, like right after I paid off my credit card, I had like free money come in and that was through work. So I got a couple like of my manager's manager and then also like one of the seniors that I support basically sent me money as like a recognition of a job well done. And
Mhm.
so to me that was like noticing a pattern of how the universe is like rewarding me and how
Mhm.
like what abundance feels like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess going off of that, so we're already a few weeks like into it's like two things. Like there's the I think it's technically called like the more Chinese astrology, right? Like the
Mhm.
different years, the different cycles that we go through.
Yeah.
So we're in Year of the Fire Horse. We just started a new astrological year, which we talked a little bit about in our mini episode. But how is it feeling like in your body now that we like are fully transitioned out of like the year of the snake and like we're fully transitioned out of winter, like we're now at the start of spring. Like what's it feeling like for you?
Spring feels so good. Like
Hmm.
so good. I just feel way more energized. Like that Aries fire, I'm really, really feeling that. I have more energy. I think I feel like things are moving at a faster pace, and I was like, I'm ready for that.
Hmm. I would
And
agree. Yeah.
yeah, and like it's been really sunny here in the Bay Area after a really, really gray and cold winter. And I know that we're very lucky and I'm grateful for the weather and the climate that we have here. But just like this, the sunshine just makes such a huge difference, especially after cold and gloomy months after months. So feeling
Yeah.
great. Yeah. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling so good. It's funny because I think now in my over 30s adult life, I love the spring and summer so much. I'm always going to be a fall girl, but spring and summer I used to not love as much when I was younger.
Mhm.
Um, and I wonder how much of that energy is that I'm feeling now in these seasons is because of some of the inner work that I've done, because there's such a strong correlation between how your body can even show up when you have these internal blocks that are preventing you from progressing in your life. And
Mhm.
I've done a lot of inner work over the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Mhm.
And so now I'm showing up in the seasons differently, and I really look forward to this time of the year. And I feel like I have extra energy. I feel like it's an invitation to like make more use of the full day, like wake up earlier, stay up and enjoy like the extra sunshine in the evening.
Mhm.
Um, so I love it so much and I can't wait. I don't think it happens in the spring. Maybe it's summer, but I can't wait till we get to a point when the sun is like rising closer to 6. Like, I'm so excited.
Mhm. It rises around what, 7 right now?
Yeah, I think it starts rising like a bit after 7
Yeah.
because I see it when I'm done with my yoga class some morning. So,
Good for you. I love it.
yes.
Um, yeah, and then I mean, I guess you were just touching on that, but now that we're a few weeks into the year of the horse and we just experienced the spring equinox, what is that feeling like for you?
Um, yeah, I think it's just a big surge of energy. Like, and specifically for me, it's showing up in a big surge of creative energy
Hmm.
and a big surge, and just having extra energy in my body and being excited to like let it out through movement. Um, Similar to you with your walking, I think one thing that has been easier to incorporate over the past few months has just been adding tons more movement to my schedule. Um, so yeah, whether it's like walking or yoga, or I'm excited to start like Pilates classes soon. I think it's just being excited to use that energy rather than just sitting with it and not doing anything with it, which is something
Mm,
that I might have done in the past, but now
that's so
I'm
good.
excited to use it.
Yeah, I really um, resonate with that because I think sometimes having that extra energy, I can feel restless, and so being intentional of like where to put it. I'm also really I'm gonna double down on like I did not feel that during the winter time that like oh I have energy and like let me use it up in a specific way, but I'm feeling that now. Like I have noticed that I'm just doing more stuff around the house. Things are easier. Like I don't have to push myself as much to do like simple tasks.
Hmm.
Um,
I know
okay,
we're all
and you
coming out of that winter depression.
yeah, and I agree over the last several years, and I think this is something that I love about our friendship too, is we've both in our own ways and together have like paid attention to what the seasons are like, what's going on astrologically, even if it's just kind of surface level, paying attention to like how we're feeling, what our goals are like, and I, we're just really paying attention to our lives. We're paying attention to how we're feeling. Um, Not to speak for both of us, but I just think that's the truth. And um, it, I think it shows and it makes a difference. So it's interesting that like your love for spring has kind of come through that kind of self-reflection and self-growth over the years.
Yeah, I really think that it has because it used to be such a struggle for me this time of year. Like, yes, the time change like takes a few days or like a week to get used to, but
Yeah,
beyond the time change, and it could also be environment for me too, because I remember growing up, like I grew up in Folsom
yeah.
and my allergies were horrendous. Like my
Mm,
body is not meant to be living there, I guess, because I'm allergic to the environment. And in the
okay,
Bay Area, I experience it a little bit, but not as much. And so it's just
right.
like inner work, environment, everything. Like I'm here for the spring. So
Mm.
I'm officially a spring girl now.
All right. What's your word of the year?
My word of the year is devotion. Um, and I talked about it more on the previous episode, so you guys can go back and listen for my little loving devotional rant there. Um,
Mhm.
and what about you? What's yours?
And my words are surrender and alchemy. And yeah, you can hear more about that in our last episode, which was a mini episode. So it's a quick listen.
Yes. Okay, I'm moving right along. So the bigger topic that we wanted to dive into today, which was, I guess it kind of came up because we were on Instagram together sharing videos and you shared a video. But okay, before we even get into that, our topic is spiritual materialism and health consumerism. And do you want to kind of briefly describe the video that you shared that just made us both cringe so hard? I'm thinking about it right now and I'm just like,
I know we
I
won't
hate
link
it
it
here.
out of respect,
No,
but
no, no. But also
but
it would like there's so many, I'm sure based on your description you're about to say, there are so many influencers and creators that put out content like this. So
I
go
don't
ahead.
even know if I could describe it. So I'll describe it and please add anything I may have left out. But I needed to prepare with water for this one. Basically, there's this influencer. I stumbled upon her page because something like stuck out, and I was like, "Ooh, what's this lady up to?" Um, Turns out what she's up to is a 35-step regimen of her morning routine. So what does this look like? Waking up at like 4 ass crack of dawn, which that's not a me thing, just to let you guys know. And then she does like a a face peel and a like 3 or 4 different things to her face. She does a pemf mat thing. She does like vibrate like a vibrational thing. And when she does her like vibrations, it's one of those machines where you stand on it and it vibrates you. I think it's like for lymphatic drainage. She has like a whole room that has like red light therapy and like the vibrator plate and all this stuff. And then she goes to Pilates and it just was so excessive and like such a privileged perspective of a morning routine because everything, all of this, and not not to hate on like, wealthy people because I think money is welcome in all of our lives and we all use it, but it just was so excessive. Like it just gave us the ick.
Yeah. And
Emily, please go.
I for
What did
me,
I
yeah,
leave
to go
out?
off what you said, it's not about a money thing. It's not about any of that. Although the point that I wanted to make about money for this particular post is something that we're seeing just everywhere in all different like niches online. So
Yeah.
this is obviously an influencer with like a link tree or a shop my like whatever fucking
Hmm.
link she's using. Um, and of course all of her products are linked so that way you can buy her version of health. You can be healthy like her, which is like the whole premise, I feel like, of so many of these morning routines, which I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. People need to use discernment when they're looking at posts like this to decide, like, oh, should I be spending my money on all of these like supplements and oils that don't even have third-party testing and aren't coming from like naturopath or holistic doctors to help with my health? Like, that's a whole other rabbit hole I can go down, like, with that industry. But it's just, to me, it's more annoying because it's so inaccessible to so
Hmm.
many people.
Yeah.
And I think that it's already hard enough online to try to parse out content that's useful for you and content that, even if it's creating like a little seed of harm in your life, even if it's creating like that little thought of, oh, like she has her life together and like I'm a piece of shit because I like, don't have that routine. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sorry, strong language. But yeah, it's just frustrating to me. Like people are just trying to live their lives out here, trying to find what works for them.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like it commodifies wellness to such an extreme that people kind of like get lost in the plot of what they're actually trying to achieve.
Yeah. Um, as someone who like kind of veers more on the side of minimalism, like if you looked at my stuff, I don't think you would guess that um that I'm that I like to adopt minimalist habits, but for me, what bothers me about that kind of, because it's not just this one woman, feels like it's a whole industry, it's a whole category of influencers, and um we're, we're older so we can kind of discern this kind of thing, but this woman has a young tween, right? And so she's like, I don't know, I think it's just you're influencing maybe a whole generation of young folks who may think that you need to like an, you already touched on it, but in order to be healthy you need XYZ, like, and the whole alphabet, and I just disagree with that. And like, for example, everyone went and bought a gua sha tool, which I think is a beautiful tool, and you know I think it could be useful, but you could also use your hands to do lymphatic drainage in the morning.
Mhm.
um you know you made a point of like, you can use like a vibrational plate, or you could go for a walk, or you could like do things like shake out your arms and
Or even, yeah, dry brushing even is a more accessible version than
mhm,
getting a vibration plate. But a few things came up when you were just talking.
mhm,
So, one, I'm going to see if I can find the video or the podcast I was listening to and link it so people can dive in if they want to.
mhm.
But it's interesting to think about what the social responsibility is for influencers or people that create content online,
Yeah.
and these companies
Mhm.
versus what the social responsibility or just the responsibility in general would be for parents who are allowing their kids to consume this content and not, I guess, having stricter rules or just being more involved in what their children are consuming. But besides that, like that could be a whole big discussion. I was listening to a podcast that was talking about the actual physical harm that is coming to young kids because they're getting pulled into this idea that at 10, 11, 12, they need a full skincare routine. And so you have, it's like this whole phenomenon that I didn't even know was going on. I
Mhm.
think they were calling them like Sephora kids or something. So
Mhm.
their parents would drop them off with like, a credit card or a bunch of cash to buy whatever at Sephora. They wouldn't really look and see what their kids were using, like what products they were putting on their body. And then a bunch of these kids end up at the doctor or the dermatologist because they're showing signs of aging because they're using anti-aging products that aren't meant for like a 10 or 11-year-old because you don't need anti-aging when you're 10 or 11 or
No, you
maybe
don't.
at all like but it's actually causing harm to kids, which is crazy that that's even a thing that's happening right now. Like
That's sad to
I
hear.
don't even remember when I started having a face routine. I don't think maybe towards honestly probably not until the beginning of college. I think it was very basic. Like
Wash your
maybe I had
face.
a really simple face wash like through high school, but more products not until I was in college. So I do think that it's crazy. You're right. Like it does have an impact on younger
That's
people,
that's
and it's
actually really,
sad.
yeah, yeah, it is sad. I think actually interesting. You were as you were describing like what your routine was when you were younger, it made me realize. So my mom always had like a pretty simple routine, like face routine, and one of my favorite things like as a kid was like watch her get ready and like put her makeup on and all this stuff. And she would always like go shop and spend money on her like Lancome products, and then she'd get like free samples, so she would give them to me. And yeah, I actually was using like anti-aging stuff probably like right like after high school, like early 20s, but it wasn't every day. It was kind of like, oh, I would have this product like and it would be like a nighttime cream or something. Um so I think that's when I started to think about that stuff, but it wasn't
Mhm.
like so serious about it. I didn't really start to have a skincare routine until probably my late 20s, and I've always had healthy skin, so I like I never kind of really had acne or blemishes or anything. I think
Mhm.
that's just genetics, but I do have like really dry skin, so I had to figure out solutions. um but I didn't feel the pressure I think that maybe kids now feel, having all of this like social media and I don't know, just like trends, like the whole thing about trends and kids feeling like the need to like jump on these trends is something that I didn't experience growing up. So
Yeah,
it
and
it
that's true.
it creates
Wellness.
a
Oh, go ahead.
difficult, yeah, sorry. I feel like it must be difficult for parents to have to think about that stuff. Parents that are like maybe our age or older because it's new to us.
Yeah, but you're so right that it is creating a bunch of trends and it's taking wellness as something that is a daily practice
Hmm.
for your life that's really personalized because everyone's body and like how their day looks and their energy levels, all of that is so individual. And so wellness needs to be also a practice that you look inward and you look at your life and then you find out, okay, what do I need? Like, what are my deficiencies? Like, what do I want to accomplish through this practice?
Mhm.
And because it's so much of a trend now in the online space, it does kind of feel like people, not everyone, but there's a good amount of people that seem okay with outsourcing like the wellness process and thinking that they can buy their way to wellness and just
Yeah.
like try a bunch of different products, versus, I don't know, taking their time and figuring out what they actually need.
Yeah, and what works for their skin type, their body types, like for example, if I just said like I'm more on the drier side. If I was just like copying and pasting what some influencer said, maybe their skin type is totally different than mine, and like it would make my skin worse because it's not meant for what I'm dealing with. I'm mature enough to discern that, but a teenager might not be. And it's not just teenagers who are being influenced. I mean, honestly, like for example, there's certain podcasts that I listen to that have like products on there that honestly I'm like, I'm gonna try that. And from that, I've actually found products that I really, really love. But I don't need to like I'm going to go back to minimalism on this, for example. Like I think that another thing that I see with like YouTubers that I follow is this like, oh, I'm going to try all of these different like makeup lines and like see what works for me. And I think my issue with that is that it creates a lot of waste. And then you see like the same people like then doing declutters and decluttering all of this stuff that's like barely been used because they kind of bought it to try it because it was trending or because it was a line that like there's a whole category of like makeup and skincare videos like this. And I think that it stems from consumerism and from capitalism, and it's wasteful and it's not great for the environment, and I don't like it. um for
Yeah,
me,
I
I'm like,
agree.
let me use what I have. Like if it's not really working for me or if it's expired, I'll throw it away. But where I try to be minimal, and I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone else, but I am. But I'm just kidding. What I'm trying to
You
say is
heard
like
it here first.
um I just like for me that's what feels that's where my values lie is let me use what I have and then I'll buy more because it's too easy to like fall into this trap of capitalism, and it's hit like in this specific category it's hidden through wellness, and so you can kind of justify it by like saying, well, this is self-care, but I would really take your time to think about like what does self-care look like to you if um yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that could be a whole other podcast too, because I think that there is a lot in the self-care space that tries to turn self-care into like your skin routine or into, I guess, topicals like creams and lotions and like baths and all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like a component of self-care, but I feel like too many times when I see specifically online people talking about it, it's kind of reduced to those things instead of like, I guess, looking at it more holistically and not just focusing on like some of those, I guess, more surface level ways to take care of yourself, which is not bad. It's just something that I notice where people are replacing this bigger concept with like, okay, like I take care of my skin every day, which is like great, but there's more that can
Mm-hmm.
be explored there.
Yeah, yeah. Let's continue on if you're cool with it, and let's talk about like what are the things what is the type of self-care that feels good for you?
Recently, I have been bringing everything back to basics. So I've been focusing on drinking more water. I've been moving more, like making sure that I'm like getting sweaty working out several times during the week because it feels so good. And I'm trying to incorporate some more like warm workouts because it feels really good in my body. Um, I've been waking up earlier. Um, One thing that I've been doing that I haven't had a consistent practice in a really long time is I've actually been journaling every day.
Mm,
And that has been really nice. Like at first I wasn't sure how I would feel about it
yeah.
because I think before I returned to the practice, I was someone who was just like, why am I going to write about my day? Like this is like even though I do love writing, I think I was just getting too in my head about it. Like, why am I going to write about what I did today or like how I felt earlier? Like I just was in this headspace where I was like, no, I just want to do like prompts and like creative prompts. Like, I don't want to write about how I'm feeling day to day. But
Yeah.
now that I actually am doing that, it's been really nice just to see all of the thoughts and emotions that come out of me day to day.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's been really good. And then my last one, I've been tracking my food so that way I know what I'm eating and specifically like how much protein I'm eating because that was a struggle for a while to get enough protein.
Hmm.
Um, and all of that together has been making me feel really good. So I'm happy with it.
Nice.
Yeah, what about you?
Finding something that is like feeling good right now.
Hmm.
Um, and that's like also an example of how wellness can look different for everybody and also like in different points of our lives, different moments of our lives. Like what's working now might not work in a week or maybe not a week, but like in a couple months, or you will have to revisit or whatever. Um, Lots of walking has been making me feel good. I really miss going to yoga. I need to just get myself there. Yoga tends to make me always feel good. Um, one thing that has been a subtle change lately that I've been loving is that I'm noticing when I'm rushing and I'm trying to slow down. So it's like, and I posted a video on my
I
Instagram
saw that.
a
Hmm.
few weeks ago, and I had already been doing it, and then I saw the video, and I was like,
Hmm.
yes. But it's basically, if I'm walking fast at work, trying to get to the next place, like I don't have a meeting to get to. I don't. Um, there's no reason why I'm rushing. Like I just am anxious for really no reason. So, or today I was like sitting in the meeting and I noticed like, oh, are my shoulders like kind of tensed up? So I was just like, okay, let me roll
Hmm.
my shoulders back, take a couple breaths. And so just doing those kinds of like subtle shifts of slowing down, coming back to my breath, and giving myself like that moment, it just feels really good. Like those little tiny changes throughout the day just make my entire day better.
Hmm.
um, Another thing that I'm really proud of myself for doing is I've not every day but in the morning I'm trying to massage out what feels good for my mornings because um, I tried to like start waking up earlier and that just wasn't feeling good for me, and I started to like just be hard on myself about it and judging myself, and I'm like, you know what, if I can't wake up, if I'm not waking up like 2 hours earlier than I need to be like right now, then I'm not going to force it. Like the whole point of having a morning routine for me is like what is feeling supportive of my day. So what I found was like I started listening to even just on Spotify meditations or through my TBM app, doing like deep imaginings. And I'll do that like when I wake up, as I'm waking up or as I'm brushing my teeth. And then I give myself the permission to listen to it again. Like I'm, I think there has been a mindset shift of like, okay, I need to make a huge change if I'm listening to this deep imagining or a meditation. But it doesn't, I could just listen to it as if it's a song, like without
Hmm.
expectation. And I think like by releasing that expectation, it's been making the experience better for me. And then I end up like doing it more because I feel like it's a lower entry to like it's a lower barrier to enter. Um, and then lastly, just always coming back to gratitude helps me so much.
Hmm.
Um, I've noticed like something I've noticed about myself is just like this, like I'll get frustrated from, I'm a human. So I'll get frustrated from things, I'll get annoyed with things. Um, and I don't like feeling like that for too long at a time and too often. And I'm just like, okay, if this is a behavior that I want to focus on changing, like let me be mindful about it. And so I think I think coming back to like, hey, I'm going to notice this thought come through. Oh, interesting. Why am I thinking? Like, what part of coming to like kind of IFS and parts, like, what part of me is feeling that way? How can I support that part? Why is this coming up? What is this trigger about? What do I need? How do I take care of like this part of myself and acknowledge it and then like let it go? So it's a lot of noticing, acknowledging it, letting it go, bringing in gratitude, and like try to be positive about things. Um, which is different than like ha- the whole like like positive thinking. I don't know. There's that could be a whole other topic,
Hmm.
but yeah, those are things that have been making me feel good.
Mm, thank you for sharing.
Okay. Oh, and then so one more thing that I wanted to bring up is that I've also been journaling, and it's something that I think I've always done, but it's just it feels good to do, like, and it helps
Mm.
me just check in with like, yeah, how I'm feeling, or like how fast things are actually moving along in my life when I feel like things are going slow. But I think sometimes the opposite is the medicine. Like you said that you would rather do journal prompts and stuff like that, and that you seem to be more in the habit of using prompts versus just like doing free writes. And I think that like I'm used to doing free writes, but I like would actually benefit from doing prompts, and it's something that I've been wanting to do more of. So I'll use like rising daughter or rising woman's prompts a lot of the time. Um, I was actually listening to our first pod episode from last year, and we were talking about Danielle Laporte and her planner. And I actually I haven't been using her planner, but I kind of miss some of the prompts or like some of the rituals that she had in there. So I might go back and try to incorporate some of that stuff into like my own like journal world.
Yeah, I know. I loved the version of the planner that was out last year. I'm curious to see what she comes up with this year and how I also want to incorporate, like, since I created my own file, like, I did get inspired by some of the stuff that she had in hers to just put into mine for my own use. But yes, maybe we can do some prompts coming up because I actually have a book that I think you would like. That's all creative writing prompts.
Ooh.
So I will bring that the next time we hang out.
Okay, sounds good. And
And it
then another
actually it fits with your word. It's called the Book of Alchemy.
shut up. It's meant to be. Another like little tidbit that I was inspired by from our first podcast, and you guys, if you haven't listened to it, it's in here. So go down and click and check it out. The video quality is not great, but the conversation was wonderful. But Artist's Way
Hmm.
is a book that I think you were reading at the time. And then
Yeah.
another one that's similar to that is called The Creative Act that I started to listen to on audiobook. But I think I want to buy both of them and have like the physical books because I think with that kind of stuff I like to like interact with it and like mark pages. But
Hmm.
that's I think something I kind of want to bring into my like spring and summer.
Mm, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So I think to kind of wrap up today, we didn't touch so much on it, so I guess I'll touch on it for just a minute and you can add on.
Oh yeah.
Um, but the spiritual materialism aspect of everything, um, I think we probably both see it almost side by side in how people are putting content out about it. But I think like what hits me the most for this particular topic is we both did our yoga teacher training. We both went to trainings that were very um, good about educating on the philosophy and the roots of yoga as well. So it
Hmm.
can be really frustrating when people are talking about yoga and they're only talking about the physical postures or only talking about like going to a class. Like it doesn't seem that in many cases yoga is anything off the mat to a lot of people. And
Right.
I know that we both get really frustrated with how it can feel really corporate, like especially in the Bay Area. It's hard to find a studio that has good integration of the physical and the spiritual aspects.
Hmm.
Um, and then, of course, like there's a whole industry around it. Like there's a whole industry selling clothes that are specific to yoga, like matching sets, all the different types of mats that you can imagine.
Yeah, like
Um,
you can do yoga in like loose pants and a loose shirt. Like it doesn't need to be,
and I do.
and it doesn't need to be, like all these name brands, like tight, constrictive sets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
You
it's
need them.
not, you shouldn't have to spend like $400 on your yoga outfits and then more than $1,000 for a studio membership every year.
Yeah.
Like there are other paths, and I just think that yeah, it can be frustrating when those messages are out there all the time.
Hmm.
Especially when it's something that you and me both really care about. And
Yeah.
it's something that we come back to, yoga philosophy. And so I think for this last part, just like acknowledging that the materialism is one part of it, like what would you say? Like pulling from yoga philosophy, like what helps you get grounded in what yoga actually is? Like, what are some of the teachings that you come back to or that are inspiring this season of your life right now that have nothing to do with the like materialism aspect of it?
Yeah. I love that question and this topic in general. Um, I think coming back to the yogic philosophies is always a good reminder for me, and looking at the niyamas and the yamas and just the teachings, like, because it can, you can really relate it to anything in your life, right? And you can take like nuggets of wisdom. So, um, and preparing for this podcast, I wanted to highlight two niyamas that stuck out to me as far as like what I'm going through right now. And the first one is Ishvara Pranidhana, which is basically about surrender. And then the second one is Dhyana, which is kind of about coming into like a meditative or flow state. And I'll read a couple descriptions for both that came kind of from like a couple different places, including Yoga Journal, which is a website that I actually really liked, and that helped me through my yoga teacher training. So for Ishvara Pranidhana, it's surrendering Pranidhana to a higher source, Ishvara. And Ishvara Pranidhana is a big picture yoga practice. It initiates a sacred shift of perspective that helps us to remember, align with, and receive grace of being alive. And
Mm.
that goes along with my word of surrendering. Yeah, it,
Mm.
it's just a good reminder.
Yeah.
And I've been holding it with me as I've just been like living my days. And then for Diana, I think for just reading descriptions and having one definition isn't enough. I mean, these are philosophies that you could read about for hours and then practice with. And it doesn't stop here, is what I'm trying to say. Um,
No, totally. I think that's a good point. Like this is a very like to end our podcast in this way is a very like it's important to us, like these topics, like the yoga philosophy topics, but they're also, we're talking about it in such a surface level way right now. And maybe at another time we can come back and like dive deeper as a part of, because I think we both want to return more to philosophy this year, right? Like,
yeah.
and in terms of spiritual practice. So maybe that's something we can do at another time and talk about more deeply how the yamas and the niyamas, like how they show up in our life and in our practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I love
yeah,
that
sorry,
idea.
go ahead.
I love that idea. I think we could easily like return to these in our next episode too.
Hmm.
And then for Diana, this definition is meditation as a state of effortless, uninterrupted flow of awareness toward a single point of focus. And excuse me. Yeah, I think that's kind of also a fun thing to strive for, is like, especially as a creative person, like getting into that flow state, um and then also like getting into that meditative state can be extremely nourishing to the soul and to the spirit.
Mm.
And I think it looks different for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, with everything, it's like a lifelong practice, and it literally is. It's a lifelong practice, so it's going to look different in all
Yeah.
seasons of life. And one of the limbs of yoga, you might feel like you have a good grasp on it. And then all of a sudden not, or just something changes. So I do love that these are all invitations to practice. It's not necessarily mastery per se. Like there is the ideal of enlightenment, but we can get into that another day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for my two, the first one I picked was Svadhyaya. So that is self-study. And for me, that feels just like a big call to this time in my life. I think that I've done, as I mentioned before, a lot of inner work to start to remove and heal certain blocks that were within me that were preventing me from like moving forward in a healthy way in my life. So I feel like a lot of that work, of course, I mean, life is gonna continue to evolve and change, and things are always going to come up. But I do feel like I have a much better foundation at this point in my life to be able to move forward with a little bit more ease and have the capacity to start to sit with myself more and not feel uncomfortable sitting with myself and actually look at how my life is unfolding, look at the actions that I'm taking or not taking, and use that as information and as data to then come back and ask myself, okay, well, these thoughts and these actions are producing this result for you, and are you okay with that? I think that's a huge part of it for me right now. And whatever the answer is, not having judgment around it, but it can be a great tool to just refocus because if the answer is no, and you do have that foundation of self-worth and self-love, if you're not in the direction that you want or need to be going, then it's just like a good reminder of you have the power to choose other things because you took the time to observe how you personally are getting from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that one. I want to spend more time with it, especially in the spring as I have all of this energy. Um, and that kind of goes into the second one that I picked for right now, tapas.
Mm.
Um, so depending where you look online, some people lean more towards describing it as discipline, but the word actually, I think the literal translation is heat. So to cultivate heat within yourself, and within your life. And so for me, that ties really closely to trying to create a devotional practice of my life because like the heat and the passion for everything, like it's very one and the same in my mind. So the choices that I'm making, um, like from a place of devotion and like from a place of using all of this energy that I have in my body, like to go do things, um, that I consistently return to, like
Mm,
that feels very just aligned and very much what I'm striving for right now, like through my actions.
mm.
That's all. Those are my two.
I really like that we did this. That's why I'm
Yeah.
smiling. It feels good. So let's almost like how we have a word of the year, I think having a niyama or a yogic teaching that we're kind of like focusing on or using as like a lens or a tool. I really like that. So I'm I'm excited to kind of keep thinking about it through that lens and keeping it with me throughout my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Awesome. I think that's a good place for us to stop. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share?
No, I'm excited that we're still continuing on this creative project together, and I'm really excited. It seems like we both have a lot of things in motion in the background, like not
Hmm.
necessarily things that we're always going to talk about on the podcast, but because we're so close, like we know like things that are upcoming for both of us. So
Mm,
I'm really excited to see what spring ends up looking like over this next few months for both of us, because
yeah.
I have a very strong feeling that things are going to look just very different than how, like, if you can create an image in your head of what life right now is like, I really do feel that in the next 2 to 3 months that we're going to come back and be like, whoa, that
Yeah.
was a crazy time of
I
transformation.
I literally think I agree. I mean, things are already in motion for like that to happen. So
Hmm.
in both of our lives.
Yes. So I'm just excited. I'm excited we get to do this together.
Me too. It's so fun.
Yes, it is.
Thank you guys for being with us and for listening, for your time and your energy. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So feel free to share any thoughts and comments below. You can come find us on our socials. I'm JanineLayla.flow and at Paths of Freedom on YouTube and Instagram.
And I am just currently focusing on Instagram. I'm at Tending Your Wild, so you can find me there. I'm finally starting to post, so come see what I'm up to.
I love it. All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.